Okay, welcome back. I'm Kevin Long. The judge, John Payton, is in with us, and we're joined now by Plano+East quarterback Corey Wesley. And Corey, first off, you guys could easily be 3-0.
Yeah.
As is your 2-1, but you really got a lot to look forward to this season.
Yes, sir. We're looking forward to playing Flower Mound Marcus this week. It's our homecoming week. It's going to be a big game.
Flower Mound Marcus 3-0. A lot of people think they're one of the better teams in the area. Great opportunity.
Yeah, it is. Their defense is pretty good as well. We're looking forward for the challenge.
You've thrown 60 passes. You completed 35 of them, 6 of them for touchdowns. You got to be pretty pleased how you've been doing this year.
Yes, coach is always on me pretty hard about completions and just taking what the defense gives me.
First game you played, heartbreaking overtime loss. And I've seen those things explode both ways. In other words, team will have a heartbreaking loss, and sometimes they get right in their hind legs and they're ready to just flat out take it out on somebody. Sometimes their morale is down and they fold. Clearly, you guys came back on your hind legs ready to hit some people.
Yes, we were very disappointed after that loss. We were all hyped up for the first game of the season, and it didn't go our way, unfortunately. But it brought us together as a team. We're ready to fight the next couple games.
Okay, well, Corey, I'll tell you what, I'm going to let a few questions be asked now by a fellow Plano+East grad. Well, I guess you're not a grad yet, but a fellow Plano+East guy. Judge, what do we got going here?
Well, I'll tell you what, Corey, first of all, it's exciting to have you on the show tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
you. Statistically, as the Dallas Morning News has reported it, when you do a comparison of quarterbacks, Corey, you're looking at right now 523 yards on the season, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And Cole Irwin is sitting at 390 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Your completing percentage is at 58.33%. Cole's is at 73%. What do you see that makes you different from Cole Irwin, your counterpart across the way?
I don't really pay attention to stats, honestly. My coach always tells me quarterbacks are judged by wins and losses, so that's all I'm focused on right now.
Okay, so you've not watched any film then on Flower Mound Marcus?
Oh, Flower Mound Marcus, yes. Their defense is pretty tough. They like to stay back and not let anything get behind them, so we're going to try to beat them underneath.
Now, have you watched film where you've seen their offense on the field?
We don't watch the offense. We mostly pay attention to their defense.
Okay, in your team practices, has your defense prepared for Harvey Gideon?
Oh, yes. Coach Patrick, our defensive coordinator, he puts together a good scheme every week, so looking forward to it.
Because I was looking statistically, and their running back, Harvey Giddens, is sitting on 11 touchdowns. So have you heard the defensive coordinator talk about what he's planning on doing in the box to try and prevent that running back from getting out and scoring a few touchdowns?
I'm not sure exactly what they have for him, but I think they'll be ready for him.
You think they'll be ready for him?
Sir.
All right. Well, let's talk about some of the gunslinging. It's been kind of exciting to watch and listen. We haven't had a Plano+East home game yet to call, but we were able to watch you on TV the other night and listen to what was going on. And I tell you, I almost jumped out of my chair when you completed that 20-yard pass against Keller down for a touchdown. What are you seeing defensively coming at you? You've had 3 pretty good solid teams that you've played. When you're looking downfield, what are you seeing downfield as openings? What are you seeing as some fast closures where these guys are closing in fast? What are you seeing out there?
Mainly in the play-action game, I pay attention to the safeties a lot. And with our speed, with our receivers with speed, we just can attack them deep and vertical.
And so on Flower Mound Marcus, when you looked at their tape this week, what have you guys prepared for offensively? Now, don't tell us about your triple reverses, fly on the fly, throwing from the tight end. Don't tell us about
this.
Yeah,
we'll keep that a secret.
Yeah, keep that a secret. But tell us, how have you prepared scheme-wise for the Flower Mound Marcus defense?
Well, they play a lot of hard cover 2 with their athletic corners, so we're going to try to attack them outside, and a little bit of soft cover 3, so we'll attack them underneath as well.
Okay, you have 3 favorite receivers. Dante Taylor is one of your favorite. You've thrown the rock at him 10 times. Trey Jones and then Colin Shaw have also had big games, and they average huge numbers of yards for you when you throw them the ball. What separates them from everybody else in your receiving core?
Trey Jones and Dante Taylor, those guys are extremely fast, like 4.3 40s, and they just can beat anybody deep, and I trust them a lot.
Flower Mound Marcus is a big game. Do you guys, when you were preparing this week, did you understand the levity of the magnitude of this game on Friday night?
Yes, it's our first district game. Coach always tells us the first one is the hardest one to get. And since our bye week, we haven't really got on the field under the lights yet, so we're pretty excited.
Corey, where do you see Plano East finishing this year in district?
I think we can make it to the top, actually. I trust our guys, and if we do what our coaches tell us to do and be coachable, I think we can do it.
So are we calling for district championship then?
I think we can do it.
I'm excited about that. I'd like to hear that as a Plano East alumni. That's for sure. Well, Corey, thank you for being with us tonight. Kevin, back to you.
Well, I'll tell you what, whether you win the district or not, we got a lot of exciting football ahead of us starting tomorrow night with Flower Mound Marcus. That is, well, what's going to be incredible, I should say Friday night, but what is going to be incredible is there are going to be two crowds in Plano that may exceed 15,000 people because it's going to be a good one. Corey, thank you for taking the time to come visit with us.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, I'll tell you what, we're going to return in a moment here, and we'll give our predictions for the upcoming week. You're listening to the Plano Independent School District Sports Network. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Kevin Long, the judge. John Payton riding shotgun as always. And, Judge, as we were saying, it's really going to be a heck of a weekend for Plano sports fans. When you consider Gerald Brents, I talked to today, he's expecting maybe perhaps two crowds in excess of 15,000 people. I think it's possible.
Oh, I think it's going to be more than possible. What we saw at Mansfield Legacy with Plano, you couldn't find a seat in the stadium.
That was incredible. That was just incredible.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing Plano play-by-play for 5 years now. And, I mean, even during the Rex Burkhead, Corey Meager days when they went all the way to the semifinals, the semifinals, I never saw a crowd any better than that. I mean, Plano had it blanketed, that one side, from, top to bottom.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, we know that Allen High School is going to bring it as well. If nothing else, they're going to bring a band with 5,000 people in it.
Well, you know what?
Or it sure seems that way.
Well, one of my favorite stories about this district was told by Russ Schuler, the assistant athletic director. The first time he had to deal with a Plano High School band, he expected 8 or 10 buses, which is about normal. He did not expect 26 buses, which they brought. They're going to bring about 600 kids in that band.
Yeah, just the band alone. And the people, I'll tell you, Allen High School traveled close to 2,500 people down to Longview. And so Plano is no Longview, and I foresee having easily at John Clark Stadium a capacity crowd.
I don't think it's any question it could happen.
And then over at Kimbrough, Plano East against Keller had an outstanding crowd. You'd thought it was a playoff game for the Plano East Panthers. And so I suspect that Coach Brents is going to be so busy that night maintaining crowd control and pleasing the crowd with the refreshments and good seating that we won't even hear from him that night.
Well, I tell you this, Coach Brent stays pretty busy regardless of the size of the crowd, but it is going to be a good one. Flower Mound Marcus, another good football school, and I expect them to have a pretty good crowd over there, too.
I'll tell you what, Harvey Giddens, that young man is tearing up the turf right now at running back for Flower Mound Marcus. Plano East defense is going to have their work cut out for them, especially in the box, and so it's going to be real interesting to see how Flower Mound Marcus's offense matches up with their defense. Plano East's offense, they are what they are. They are fast. They are slick. They get the ball downfield quickly. They strike early. And so I suspect that the Flower Mound defense is going to have their hands full with the likes of Corey Wesley and our running back core as well.
And I certainly believe Plano West has an opportunity to make it 3 in a row. They're playing a Louisville team that I fully believe they can beat.
Absolutely. Plano West matches up well with Louisville. I think that Plano West's talent exceeds Louisville's talent. And I do foresee them going 3-1. And, Coach Hughes has got to be happy with what he's seen. His kids did not fold up tent after that beating by Arlington Martin. And rightfully so because of how good Arlington Martin is, not at how poor Plano West is talent-wise.
And, a lot of times, too, though, you look at a game like that, and they're doing things you haven't worked on yet, and it's almost like you're conducting tryouts on the field, and you really, as Charles Barkley would put it, have no choice but to just take your butt whipping and go home, readjust, and come back. And, I'm not going to say Plano West could beat Arlington Martin now, but if they played them again, I think it'd be a much tighter football game. All right, looking at our predictions, the games coming up this week, Judge. 13 Arkansas plays 3 Alabama. Who are you going with, Judge?
Well, today I'm going to go with Alabama.
Okay.
I have to go with the Tide. I don't want to. Not particularly a big fan, but And I love Arkansas, but I think Alabama's going to take the win.
Well, I am a big fan of Alabama. Having covered the Tide for 7 years and worked there for 7 years, was one of the most incredible, fascinating things I ever saw, Alabama football, so I am going with the Tide. Oklahoma State, Texas A&M, who are we going with there?
Texas A&M. I think the Aggies are packing a punch this year. I don't think Texas A&M is a fall by the wayside kind of football team, and I think they're going to surprise Oklahoma State.
Well, I am going to go with A&M too for the simple reason Kyle Field, I think it will give them an advantage there. Oklahoma State could detonate at any minute on anybody. They are a heck of a team, but I think A&M is going to get the best of them this week. Okay, West Virginia, LSU. Who are we going with there, Judge?
I like LSU. I know LSU is a spot-on favorite. West Virginia is a good ball club. I don't think they can keep up with LSU.
Quarterback coach Steve Craigthorpe from LSU is as good a friend as I have in the coaching profession. I never pick against him. He's a great guy, but I still think LSU's got too much firepower to beat West Virginia. All right, moving right along here, Clemson's going to be taking on Florida State. Who are we going with there, Judge?
I'm going to go with Clemson. I should have went with them last week when they played out Auburn. You know, I've said it all year that Auburn has been very inconsistent. You know, I thought Auburn looked good the week before, but Clemson looked awfully good. So I'm going with Clemson.
I'm not going to let Clemson make me look stupid again because I picked against them too last week, and they all but mopped the floor with Auburn. They look really good. So I'm going to go with Clemson there too. Florida, Kentucky, who are we going there, Judge?
You know, I'm going to go with Kentucky.
Oh, boy.
I don't think Florida is everything that they say it is. Kentucky comes out and plays football hard every Saturday, and Kentucky every year has one big game that they get up for and create an upset. And I'm going to pick this one as their upset. I'm going with Kentucky.
Well, I'll tell you what, I can never take anybody named Joker seriously, so I'm going with Florida. Actually, that's inappropriate to say Joker's a heck of a coach, but I am going to go with Florida in that one. I'm not so sure it's going to be any kind of blowout, but I think Florida got a little bit too much power. Texans and Saints, who are we going with there?
I'm going to go with the Texans again. I've been riding their win streak so far. They've got a great team. Foster's going to play football. He's going to be in the backfield for them. They've got the young man that's back from the injury who also is running the rock like he's got nothing to do but go into the end zone. I'm going with the Texans.
Well, I'm going with the Texans there, too. And, of course, Cowboys taking on the Redskins. Who are we going with there,
Well, this
Judge?
is Monday night.
Monday Night Football.
And, boy, Dallas always seems to have a heartbreaker on Monday nights. But I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I think that last week's win was a maturation process for the offense. Tony Romo came out and was gritty and strong, and so I'm going with the Cowboys.
And all I got to say is anytime I ever see Redskins Cowboy, think about Redskins Cowboys, I always think of that commercial for American Express that Tom Landry did where he said, you never know when you're going to be surrounded by Redskins. Best commercial ever made, I think, but I'm going to go with the Redskins there, too. All right, that'll about do it for this program, Judge. We'll be back at you again next week. Once again, I'm Kevin Long. This is the Judge, John Payton, and we'll be coming at you every Wednesday night, as well as being able to replay us anytime you want. This is the Plano Independent School District Network. Have a good evening, everyone.